What's hiding behind your favorite apps? Join me as I dive deep into the hidden secrets of my favorite apps and see if I can uncover what's really lurking behind them. The truth is, most of us use apps without giving a second thought to what's happening behind the scenes, but it's crucial we understand what our favorite apps might be doing with our personal data. Apps often require a slew of permissions to function, from accessing our location to our contacts, and sometimes even our microphone or camera. Many users overlook the fact that these permissions can be used to collect a wealth of personal information, which can then be sold to third parties or used for targeted advertising. This data collection can be incredibly invasive, and it's not always clear what apps are doing with the information they gather. Some apps may use this data to build detailed profiles of their users, including their interests, behaviors, and even their personal relationships. This can be particularly problematic when users are unaware of the extent to which their data is being collected and used. The issue of data collection is further complicated by the fact that many apps are not transparent about their data practices. Users may be unaware of what data is being collected, how it's being used, or with whom it's being shared. This lack of transparency can make it difficult for users to make informed decisions about which apps to use and how to protect their personal data. Furthermore, some apps may use deceptive tactics to collect user data, such as pre-checked boxes or confusing privacy policies. This can lead to users inadvertently giving apps permission to collect more data than they intended. The potential misuse of personal information is a major concern when it comes to app permissions and data collection. If apps are collecting and storing large amounts of user data, there's a risk that this data could be compromised in the event of a security breach. This can have serious consequences for users, including identity theft, financial fraud, and reputational damage. Additionally, some apps may use user data to engage in unethical practices, such as price discrimination or biased advertising. This can perpetuate existing social inequalities and create new ones. Some apps have faced intense scrutiny over their data practices, including Facebook, Twitter, and Uber. For example, Facebook has been criticized for its handling of user data, particularly in the wake of the Cambridge Analytica scandal. The company has faced numerous lawsuits and regulatory actions, and has been forced to implement new policies and procedures to protect user data. Other apps, such as WhatsApp and TikTok, have also faced criticism over their data practices, with some accusing them of collecting and sharing user data without consent. There have been numerous instances of apps being caught collecting and misusing user data, often in ways that are completely hidden from the user. For instance, some apps have been found to be collecting location data even when the app is not in use, while others have been caught accessing users' microphones or cameras without permission. These practices are not only invasive but also potentially illegal, and they highlight the need for greater transparency and accountability in the app industry. The fact that many apps are able to engage in these practices without consequence is a worrying sign, and it suggests that there is a lack of effective oversight and regulation in the industry. A staggering number of apps are tracking our every move, often without our knowledge or consent. In fact, one study found that the average person is tracked by over 100 different apps every day, with some apps collecting data on everything from our location to our browsing history. This level of surveillance is unprecedented, and it has serious implications for our privacy and our freedom. The fact that so many apps are tracking us without our knowledge or consent is a major concern, and it highlights the need for greater transparency and accountability in the app industry. The sheer scale of data tracking is staggering, with some estimates suggesting that the average person generates over 1 gigabyte of data every day. This data is incredibly valuable, and it's being used by apps and advertisers to build detailed profiles of our interests, behaviors, and preferences. However, this data is also highly sensitive, and it can be used to discriminate against us or manipulate our behavior. The fact that so much of our personal data is being collected and used without our knowledge or consent is a major concern, and it highlights the need for greater transparency and accountability in the app industry. The implications of data tracking are far-reaching, and they have serious consequences for our privacy and our freedom. When apps collect and use our data without our knowledge or consent, it can feel like we're being watched all the time, and it can be incredibly invasive. Furthermore, the fact that so many apps are tracking us without our knowledge or consent is a major concern, and it highlights the need for greater transparency and accountability in the app industry. The fact that our data is being used to manipulate our behavior or discriminate against us is a worrying sign, and it suggests that there is a lack of effective oversight and regulation in the industry. In conclusion, being aware of what's happening behind our favorite apps is crucial in today's digital age, and it's essential we understand the potential risks and consequences of using these apps. If you've had any experiences with app privacy that you'd like to share, please let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to check out my next video where I'll be sharing tips on how to protect your personal data online.